How do I feel looking back on 25 years? I'm incredibly proud that we are still here as such a vibrant organisation.
We are a bunch of guys who literally learn the game by watching it on YouTube. And they get hit, and they're like, I wasn't ready for that.
The sense of camaraderie and seeing that continue off the field.
Whereas in the first few years, it was kind of like, this could fall apart tomorrow.
All is in readiness here. The stars are out. The big stage is here. The red carpet is rolled out.
Looking forward to this, as we like to say, a humdinger.
And the question is, can you teach old dogs old tricks? This is a rematch of last year's grand final between the two sides.
They made the grand final last year, now a rematch. It was a slugfest.
Every single player on that team is a weapon.
I'll tell you what, if that doesn't make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, you might want to check your pulse.
So, hang on to a partner. This is going to get rough and ready. The two best sides here at the Nationals, the dream rising to the top in Prince fashion. And these boys are going to get it on. Smash mouth in the middle. And a fantastic mark in front by the number 12.
For the air, Coleman went for it. Look out, here comes trouble.
Sportscast, Courage Boom Opera out of the middle. Everyone goes down and gets funky.
Saying, calm it down. We got this. Let's take some good marks. Let's play some clean footy. That's where we shine.
And the umpire says, I may need to shovel the scraper off the ground. Messiah says, give me that ball. And she did. She took it away.
He tosses it to the heavens, and the good Lord says, go after it, my daughters, and play footy.
A bit inexperienced, a little bit probably nervous and over anxious. You've got to keep it plugging away, it'll come.
Yeah, no big tackle put in there, but it was high, just a little high around the shoulders.
Taken by the 24 for Minnesota. Freeman in the score. Here's the number 23. He's taken, played on, shoots, and scores! That is, we have some new kids on the block with regards to USAFL Nationals.
I love the fact that all these Americans love this sport.
And Peter Holden from Women's Australian Rules Football Radio will be joining us in just a couple of moments. The umpires now coming onto the ground, and we are set for what should be a fantastic match. These two teams have not lost yet this weekend. The Iron Maidens have gotten here, defeating the New York Magpies and the Sacramento Suns in pool play, and then knocked off the Seattle Grizzlies in the semifinal. They have won their games by a combined score of 140-1. The Minnesota Freeze, well, they got here, as we said, their very first grand final. They began playing in Division I all the way back in 2010. They've either finished third or fourth in that time. They got here by defeating the DC Eagles and then the pretty fancied the Seattle Grizzlies and the Minnesota Freeze. A lot of people were expecting the Freeze or the Grizzlies to be here, or rather the Denver Bulldogs. A lot of people were expecting either the Bulldogs or the Grizzlies to be here. They aren't here, and the Freeze have made it for the very first time. Now, these two teams are very familiar with each other in Nationals play. The Iron Maidens defeated the Freeze in the semifinal in both 2018 and 2019. In 2018, the margin was less than a goal. We mentioned the San Francisco Iron Maidens and how they have won 5 straight national championships. They also have the opportunity to set the record for most consecutive national victories by a women's team as they look for their 24th consecutive win. They've won every game at every nationals they've played since 2016. All is in readiness. The Frees are in the dark blue jumpers. They're heading from left to right, rather from right to left on your screen. Liz Ed is the rookie. She's in the ruck for the Minnesota Frees. And Sene Moimoy, the former volleyball player from Ole Miss University, is in the ruck for the Iron Maidens. The umpire holds the spirit of this great game aloft. It's Lori Roop, and she tosses it to the heavens, and this Division I Grand Final is underway. Knocked forward and into the hands of Nicole Fury. Fury does a big bootleg around, goes right to left. Now sends this one deep inside 50 and over to get it, and getting it is Paige Thell. She's going to be one of the key defenders for this Minnesota Freeze side as it goes up the far end now, chasing after it. One of the Iron Maidens, long handball back. And now here comes Meg Leone. Leone's going to send that one into the first inside 50. Queen Bowles, one of the players, back to get it. Amanda Dvorak there for the Minnesota Freeze. And the long kick back in the other direction. Ball goes to ground and bounces away. Ed is in there. So is Fury. And now there's a big arm wrestle. Olivia Keski is in there. A lot of brand new names for the Minnesota Freeze. A lot of chatter pre-tournament as to whether or not they would have been able to field a Division I side. And boy, oh boy, here they are again, undefeated and playing in the grand final. Here is the Iron Maidens again, sending it to the top of the 50-meter arc. Green shoved in the back. No call. In fact, no, they are going to call it. Michaela Soule is going to get pinged, and here is the Washington, D.C. native in Savannah Green, playing in her 5th year in the USAFL. Chopped over the top, a lot of hands. That one is batted free. There are 3 Freeze players over to get to it, and they're going to be met by the 2 players for the Iron Maidens, and she's going to be G-O-N-E gone, and it'll be a free kick and the first scoring opportunity of the game to the Maidens. They're very good at pressuring, is this San Francisco side, coached on the field by Katie Klatt. And this is Nicole McKenzie, who has won numerous best and fairest awards. McKenzie's kick on the way. It looks good off the boot. It's going to die in the square, however, and Thell is there to concede the behind. And so the first score of the game goes to the Iron Maidens on the Watch AFL scoreboard. They lead 1-0. Be interesting to see how they link up defensively coming out of the back now. This is Becky Kraft. Goes out to the far side. A lot of hands rise. Freeze able to maintain possession. Soccered along the ground by Catherine Georgiadis. Sent back the other way by San Francisco. Goes up high off the hands of Kraft once again. Check that, that's Lauren Uhl. And then the ball gets moved forward. Picked up and sent back from which it came by Alvy Doherty. And that one is tailing off to the left. And we'll have a boundary. No, it just stayed in play. Little chip kick, but it's blocked. There's Brower turning around, but it's going to get cleared up out of the back by the Freeze. Just off the foot there. Now here's McKenzie. Legs around. Handballs it over to Fury. Fury with a little footballing jiggery pokery. She sticks that one onto the left side. Juggled and dropped. Picked up there by Manea. Manea turns and she has her kick attempt smothered. The ball gets knocked free. And it's down along the ground. Here is Fury once again, going to pick that one up. Tries and picks that one up one more time. She's collared around the head. Now here comes the other way is Ed once again. And now up on the far side they go. Chasing after it is Georgiadis. So too is Moimoy. And the ball is over on the tent side of the ground there. And the ball has sailed away, and it has in fact gone out of bounds. On the Watch AFL scoreboard, San Francisco leads 1-0 going after Premiership number 6. Ball comes back in on the other side now. And it's picked up nicely by Connor Lewis. And the gridiron football player in Connor Lewis, who is best on ground in the Eastern Regionals, is tackled. And we'll have a ball up on the outer wing position. Front of the Cooper's tent. And also you see one of our major sponsors there in Tasmanian. Ed looked like she was shoved down. It's going to be cleaned up. Moimoy able to get it to Jess Blecker, from former Collingwood VFLW player. Goes, looks for Brower, but here out the back now and soccering it on to herself is Kaylee Martin. Martin tried to get to it, squares up for goal, and Brett Brower has kicked the first major score of the game. Brett Brower, who has been a centerpiece at many of these 5 national championships, kicks the first sausage roll of this one on the Watch AFL scoreboard. It's the Iron Maidens 1-1-7, Minnesota no score. And you see the early pressure being put on this Minnesota Freeze defense, which, as we mentioned, led by Paige Thel, a USA Freedom member. There's a lot of national team members and former alumni on this Minnesota side, including Catherine Georgiadis, Caitlin Peterson, Kathy Hoa, Jess Nelson, Catherine Mullen is in there as well, Brie Osthoff, Becky Kraft, Connor Lewis. A lot of names here. Ray Hale, of course. Here comes San Francisco the other way. Kicked down to the near side. Looks like Lewis tries to shovel it on and does. Sent forward by the Freeze. Here's their first sortie inside 50. Going after to get it is Peterson, but couldn't get to it. Big job out of the back. Maybe taken down without the football, yes. And giving away the free kick there was the number 20 and Chelsea Blockland. So it'll be a free kick now out the back, or check that. That's going to be on Brie Osthoff. So they'll come out to the near side, looking for Fury. Good job by Lewis to get a paw to it. Chips that one inside. And now here comes Lindsay Eliason. They are very, very high on Lindsay Eliason and what she can bring to this Minnesota Free side. Free kick now for the Iron Maidens, leading 7-0 on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Intercepted by Connor Lewis. Lewis looks around. She's going to go to the top of the 50. Who's waiting there? Eliason is. She drops the pill. And now in front comes, now here's the bootleg around. Going in towards the sticks. Chasing after it is Peterson. And the ball will tumble out of bounds. And we'll have a boundary throw in again. 7-0. San Francisco the lead. Boundary throw in will occur as the Freeze, with their first sustained opportunity against this vaunted defense by the San Francisco Iron Maidens. Ball comes spinning back in the play. Gets knocked down. Peterson goes after it. Maidens try to clear it out. Do so to the near side. Lewis racing after the footy, and she's going to get, she slipped, it looked like, before the player got to her. Green is in there. A little shovel pass looking for Hoa. Hoa gets the ball back to Soule, sends that one in, and then gets knocked away. Burrows Chang is in there for Minnesota. Handballs it across to Mullen. Mullen tries with a pitchfork handball inside, and looks like a big old wrestling match in there, and we'll have a ball up. And now, for the first time in this game, I'd like to welcome from WARF Radio.
Am I on microphone?
You are now.
Hello, Brian Barish. Great to be here after a late finish in Women's Division 2. And by the way, congratulations to the Texas Heat, who defeated the Centennial Tigers for the Women's Division 2 National Championship. As we line up at this very moment, it's in the hands of Catherine Hoa. What can she do with the ball? Her side down by 7 points in this Women's Division 1 Grand Final, thanks to Coopers and Tasmanian. She's taking her time. A very important kick. Slight breeze blowing across the ground. Catherine Hoa from outside the 50. Gives it a good race. Gives it a good hoik on the kick. How's it going to reach for distance? It comes off hands, and the Iron Maidens will come out of defence and look for Nicole McKenzie. Awkward bouncing ball. Sits up very nicely to her. She's got company coming at her. Running at her originally was Liz Ed. Now here's the kick in towards the centre wing position. Good mark taken. And they'll take the opportunity to try and calm down and compose themselves. Jess Black is calling for it short. They ignore her and elect to go longer for Brett Brower, who crashed the contest. Brower wanted to have a crack at it. Silvio wanted to jump in there as well. Couldn't extract the ball as Lauren Ull. Ball popped out now with Georgiadis, who got dumped for her troubles. Went looking for rain with the kick as it went up and it went down. Now coming away with it with a don't argue. This is some brilliant run here by Lewis, who delivers out towards the half-forward flank position. It's got to be trapped, this football. Coming after it and racing her way through was Allison. Did well from 45 metres out. How does it look? It's away to the right. A nervous moment there, but the first score for the Freeze on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Minnesota, 1 behind. San Francisco, 1-1-7.
Minnesota came to play. They're going to take this opportunity for all it's worth. And I'll tell you what, Pete, very excited to see Lindsay Eliason talk to the Minnesota players before the game. They're really excited about the future of that rookie player. Out to the near side they go. Over the top looking for Burrows. Chang couldn't find her. Here's the clear out of the back to the near side. One-on-one contest. Green couldn't get to it. Getting it and falling to the ground was one of the Freeze players, but a big tackle thrown in, and it's going to be a throw, and it is going to be a free kick. And a great job of the tackle there by the number 7 in Michaela Soule, who has been very tenacious here in the early going. Has Savannah Green on the mark. Now a little chip-in kick looking for Oa. Couldn't handle it cleanly. Bumped off the footy by Gallagher. Now here's Blecker chasing after the footy. Ed had to go all the way down. Long handball out to the near side. Now finds Lewis. Lewis centers the ball into the middle of the ground off the feet of one of the Maidens Maidens players, and here is Nicole McKenzie, went without the footy, big mistake, big tackle thrown in there by Olivia Keski, but they'll play on as they come out the far side now. Here come the Iron Maidens. Very good start to the game, 7-1 on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Drop the pill, no call. And now bootlegging around again, it looks like Blecker. Over the top looking for Moy Moy. Moy Moy through the middle of the ground. Passes that one off to Gallagher. Gallagher sends that one into the forward line.
And one for Brett Brown, came off her hands, couldn't control it. It's Silvio, got the hand pass off, has a player running on by on the side, trying to dance around and go for a burst of speed. Here is Fury, a long shot at goal, a straight shot at goal, and it is a goal! San Francisco put it out to a 2-goal margin, 2-1-13. Minnesota 1 behind. It's 12 points the difference on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
And I'll tell you what, if they don't buckle down soon, it's going to be like Bingo trying to eat cherry tomatoes with a fork. It's going to be a little bit difficult, but a good job here. You see the Freeze not afraid to challenge that defense. Unfortunately, they get hit in transition, and there you see the Iron Maidens through Nicole Fury, who is best on ground of the Western Regionals, one of that Irish triumvirate. You see San Francisco, they play a lot of Gaelic football during the course of the season, and it pays off for them.
Long, direct, clean. That's the best way to call the style of football that is played by the San Francisco Iron Maidens.
Ball back in the middle of the ground. We're underway once again. And this time, Moy Moy again wins the hit out and wins it almost to advantage. Clean ball, Stell, who's now snuck up. I was going to say snug up. It took a while to get it out. Now it's taking a while to extract the footy. Gallagher is in there. Moy Moy is in there. So is Leilani Cordoba. Silvio has the football. Little toe poke inside. Here comes Kraft out the back, or out the back with the left foot. One-on-one contest. Eliason had the ball knocked away. Moy Moy is there. Chases that one to the inside. Bounces away from Blecker, but she stays with the footy. Tries to get away from Lewis. Comes to the inside and picked off the other way. Here is Burroughs Chang out into the cow paddock under the wing. Running onto it and now turning around is Colleran. She's going to send that one up high. Almost taking that as Blecker. She's going to stay with it. Blecker picks it up but runs into a brick wall. And down she goes. What a fantastic tackle by Phage Thel. And right now she's keeping her team in the game, playing spiritedly out of defense.
Such a wall, I feel like playing the bass line to Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall.
Indeed.
It was that impressive. And now goes up the line and managed to take a mark, and back onto it is the player in Connor Lewis. She finds herself on the half-back flank on the broadcast side thanks to the great team at Go Live Sportscast. Goes high towards the centre wing. It came off hands. Eliason read the football well. She's a ginger. Of course she's going to read the football well. She goes long towards the half-forward flank position. It's going to be intercepted though, and it's taken by Lauren Dawes. Knock, knock, who's there? As she tries to square things up in towards the middle of the ground. It's a high floating kick. Two Iron Maidens players fought each other, but don't worry. Sarah Maggie on his back there at the back to try and clean things up. Hand pass has got to be good. Panda New went over around the ball. Was going to leave it originally for Blecker. Had plenty of support there. That support came through from Mania. Now they work it out wide to 40 metres out from goal. A little toe poker for Brett Bauer. And she takes the mark. She's 25 metres out directly in front of goal. And if she can slot this, Brian, it'll be out to a 3-goal margin.
I'll tell you what, they're using her as a key forward. It's amazing to see her transfer. She was the ruck. She's played elsewhere on defense, and now she's in as the key forward.
And a member of the world team at the IC back in 2017. Brett Brower directly in front and straight through the high diddle. Thanks to the good people at Cooper's, Tasmanian, and on the Watch AFL scoreboard in the Women's Division 1 United States Australian Football League National Championship of 2022. Try and say that after a bundle of Pinot Noir. It is 3-1-19 for San Francisco, Minnesota 1 behind.
They're going to need to figure out how to mark her because they've established her now as the key target. They're going to need a faster player. They might need to bite the bullet and put Phage Thel on her and find out what flavor of chewing gum she is.
Indeed, at the moment, the backs are against the wall for Minnesota, but we have seen them take it up to San Francisco before. Flashbacks to that semi-final, 2018 in Racine.
Plenty of time to go. Still just 3 goals the difference. Ball in the air once again. Ball goes to ground, almost picking that one up as Wynn. Bounces out to the near side to Gallagher. Gallagher will poke that one forward, chasing after it is Thel, but a little bit faster was Cordoba. And now going in after it is one of the Freeze players, and another one as well. Throw a blanket over a half a dozen players, and we'll have a ball up at the top of the 50. We mentioned this is the Minnesota Freeze's first ever appearance in a Division I Grand Final. They were runners-up in Division II as part of a large conglomerate of teams in 2015. Out to the top now of the 50, trying to move the ball now, and Lewis was met. Big swing and a miss there by Ed, staying in with the footy. There's a congregation around it. They're all singing Kumbaya. Now Oa will send that one forward. And over the back, two players converge. It bounces free. And there's Eliason with a big tackle. I'll tell you what, Pete, she looks a little bit like the American Georgia Nanscon a little bit as she goes out to the far side. It's picked up there by Vicky Powell. Powell continues up the left side. One-on-one contest. Nice mark. And it's taken there by Francesca Manea.
Manea with the football on the half-forward flank in front of the hot dog van. Elects to go long towards the Watch AFL scoreboard. Hands are up in the air. Silvio tries to punch it along the ground. Gains about 5 metres going sideways. Georgiades tried to come and lay a tackle. There's Portland's baby goat in Jess Blecker. Fired off the hand pass. Manea came through as well. Craft with the soccer skills off the ground. Wants to try and go towards true centre half back. Panda Nguyen came through for good measure. Trying to pick up the ball is Fury. She went on the left boot. Oh my goodness, this looks beautiful. And it's another goal for the San Francisco Iron Maidens. They go out to 4-1-25. Minnesota one behind. Or let me put it to you another way, Brian Barish. So far this tournament, 168 points to 2, San Francisco versus their opponents.
And at this point, Minnesota is very happy to just have the 1 point. They all of a sudden, for that little 3 or 4 minutes, they had the ascendancy and they seemed to have the ball, and we thought this might be close. They need to figure out a way to pull it back in. They are affecting a lot of pressure. They just need to figure out how to get the footy.
As the umpire has the football back in the ground, Panda Nguyen is going to be doing the rucking here for the San Francisco Iron Maidens. And it looks like it's Liz Ed doing it for the Minnesota Freeze. All tied up there, trying to get hands on the ball is Nicole Fury. And once again, we'll call for a ball up. The one thing I've been talking about with the San Francisco Iron Maidens is it's not the veteran. They've got some new players coming through that are really starring for them. That's scary for what they can deliver in years ahead.
Yeah, and especially, and of course, we talk about it with the Freeze as well, considering the run they've made to the tournament. This is Green now as she pokes that one forward up high. They're going to drop on top of the 50. Everybody overruns it. Paige Thel doesn't. She'll pick it up and has to get it away quickly. She does to Osthoff. Goes out the far side now. It'll roll. It'll skip. It'll hop. It clean bowls Powell up to the near side. Just getting her left foot onto it was Kraft. Drops in front. Picking that one and going around is Osthoff. She goes and she chases after the footy. And now it's cleaned on. They're going to go inside 50. It's a one-on-one contest. Here comes Connor Lewis, or check that. Here comes Kaya Saigula, who goes after the footy. And now that one's going to end up getting cleared out as Katie Klatt will come out and defend as she normally does. The ball bounces around, gets by Gaillard, goes up the far side now, and now here comes to drop the footy. Did she tackle up? Not paid, and that one is sent inside 50 where Katie Klatt takes an intercept mark. Bit unlucky for the Freeze not to get that call.
That is the best insurance policy you can have in any side. Katie Klatt just parking herself across half-back. But as much as I praise her, she just coughed up the football and went straight down the throat there of Connor Lewis. Lewis says, wagons ho, let's go long. And that's what she does, puts it in the hot spot, 25 metres out from goal. Trying to desperately grab onto the football there was Liz Eliason. Ball got knocked away from her. In fact, it wasn't Eliason, pardon me, it was Darling earlier. Now the ball is on the ground. Who can try and find it? Trying to bust the way through there was Savannah Green. Couldn't pick it up. Lewis has a shot at goal. Has she got one for Minnesota? They're alive! Minnesota on the scoreboard, 1-1-7, trailing San Francisco 4-1-25. And I am going to say this, Brian Barish, they haven't played anyone this year prior to this tournament, the Minnesota Freeze. So not only is that remarkable, I think the Iron Maidens are too chicken to play the Freeze.
Oh, send complaints to Peter Holden, care of, I was going to say the Minnesota Freeze have entered the chat. Back in the middle once again. And you know what? Listen, look at all this talent. And you mentioned Eliason, who's up there, Osthoff and Courtney Dowling doing very, very well as we come back into the middle of the ground on the Watch AFL scoreboard. It's 25-7. Now what happens here? How do the Iron Maidens respond? Well, they respond by losing the hit out. Diving on top of that one is Fury. There is Win as well, and the umpire, Lori Roop, crosses her arms like the Monsignor. She says this ball is cryogenically frozen just like Walt Disney, and we'll have a ball up in the center of the ground. The ball goes high up in the air. Ball gets knocked down, set forward by the Iron Maidens, heading to the top of the circle, and it looks like we have a mark, and it's a defensive mark to Paige Thel. Thel will come forward now. She puts that one high and deep and long, and it's a one-on-one contest. Lewis had it bounce off of her hands. Eliason was tripped up, no call. Now picking that one up is Powell. Powell goes backwards. Leon chasing after it. So is Gaillard, and so is Colleran. The ball squirts out. Here is Lewis. Bootlegs around. Handballs it in short to Oa. Oa's going to chip that in, but it's picked off by Katie Klatt.
And she bursts away with speed, puts it on the right boot towards the beer tent wing position. Wants Nicole McKenzie to try and run on the football, and she does with a burst of speed. Away goes McKenzie, takes a bounce in front of the Targo van. Still going, draws a player towards her with a hand pass to Fury. Fury's got to do a little bit of dancing here. Swung around on the left, going to Bauer in the forward pocket. Bauer takes a mark. She is 25 metres out from goal on a tighter than 45-degree angle. An angle so tight it would make Warwick Kappa blush. Kicking towards the northern end of the ground. Slight breeze here at the Silver Lake Sports Complex in Norco, California, which is a short drop punt from Ontario. By the way, I look forward to seeing you next year in Sarasota, Florida for the next Nationals. Here's Bauer. How does it look? Goal umpire comes in and says, 2 pies, please. San Francisco stretch it back out to a 4-goal lead. They are 5-1-31. And it is 1-1-7 Minnesota on the Watch AFL scoreboard as we hit halftime.
That was a very entertaining half, Pete. And obviously one team a little bit ahead of the other, but let's give it up for the Minnesota Freeze. That's the first goal that San Francisco has allowed in this tournament. And I'll tell you what, there's still plenty of time to play. I've seen some really, really good things come out of them. And especially I mentioned Lindsay Eliason has played well, and Paige fell out the back.
Not only the only goal, so far Minnesota has been the only team in the matchups against San Francisco where there has been genuine, fast-paced, end-to-end football.
Everyone back in the middle of the ground. Second half to go. Watch AFLW scoreboard. 5-1-31 San Francisco. 1-1-7 Minnesota. 4 goals of difference. 20 minutes separating possibly San Francisco from their 6th straight national championship and to equal the record.
We were just waiting for the Golden Gate Roos to get off the ground. They were a bit too slow. I think that's why they lost to Austin, or too soon, as the ball is up in the middle of the ground and it's pounded new end. Here's a hurry kick out by Thiel. Tries to gain some distance. Mark being taken there by Segala. And now it's Georgiades who got ripped down. Here comes Katie Clapp with the football. Tries to square it up and finds Nicole McKenzie. The gloved one gives the little hand pass off. Had a player running on by, and that is the 37 of the Norgard, who now kicks it long towards the half-forward flank position. Trying to juggle the football there was Ashley Day. Had to duck a tackle there, Silvio. She's had a marvellous tournament. Silvio tries to square the football up. Oh, what a grab! At the very top of the goal square. The pill completely swallowed, devoured in fact. And a shot on goal for the San Francisco Maidens. And that will be Martin. Kaylee Martin just had her name written all over it. It may say Sharon or it may say Burley. It says no, it now says Martin. Because I dominated that contest and I put the ball. Did it squeeze through between the sticks? The goal umpire did a bit of work. No, for the dramatic effect. He says it was to the right, or our left.
Your other right.
Yes, right. No, left.
Roger.
32-7, the lead with San Francisco.
That's on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Out of the back now comes Paige Thel. She comes out to the near side. They rise up. Fury had it go through her hands. Here comes Eliason going after the footy. She couldn't handle it, but here comes Nicole McKenzie. Splits, and she looks like Michaela Schifrin going through defenders. Handball over the top to Jess Blecker. Start singing.
Is the cup going to San Francisco?
We don't need the lady. We've got Peter Holden as on
of
the
equal girth.
I'd let you fill in your own adjective. 6-2-38 on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Minnesota 1-1-7. They are still dug in, are the Minnesota Freeze. And I'll tell you what, whatever happens, I'm going to say it right now. They're an early contender for next year. They have not dropped their heads. They still have their heads up, and they're still going to fight to the very end.
And trying to bust the way through the middle there is Elise Gallagher. Now taken away here by the Freeze with one step long kick, only as far there as Margaret Leone, who takes it and says, that football is mine. Thank you very much. I will not cough it up. I will deliver it out towards the wing position with a bit of a grubber of a kick. Gallagher goes in now at level to try and pick up the football. She was claimed in the side there by Sully, and the umpire says no, it was the back, in fact, and she can have a free kick. Gallagher now going up for the Silvio direction, who I've said has been getting better and better and better every national championship that I have seen her, and just quietly might be a sneaky chance for the BOG, in my humble opinion, from the games that I've seen so far. Kicks it long towards the forward pocket situation. Lewis there is trying to be dragged. Gave the football off. It's a bit of a worm burner. Eliason has it. Tries to get it to Georgiades. Umpire blows the whistle and says, infringement, free kick the way of the Freeze.
I'll tell you what, I've said it at the top. I said it in my previews. Every year it seems like the field is getting closer and closer to the Iron Maidens. They add another piece. First Katie Klatt, then Blecker, and now it is Leilani Cordova as the ball goes to ground. Leilani Silvio as the ball is kicked out, one in the middle of the ground. Over the top, Gaillard is going to have to chase after it. Ed's going to join her in that. Here is Katie Klatt, who's going to win the footy. Gets a handball off. It'll drop in front of the 44, who is Magaillon. Mags get her first touch. Long pass over the top to McKenzie. McKenzie and her one glove picks it up. She has nobody around her. She's got all sorts of time. Great job by Gaillard to throw the block in. She's going to send that one in. Silvio went after the footy, but here's Eliason who is there, and she sends that one straight out over toward the good folks for Go Live Sportscast, who are bringing you these pictures and probably don't mind a little bit of footy with their tent.
Kelly was very close to getting a possession there in the Go Live Sportscast tent. He was incoming.
I mean, she spent as much time here. She has to get a possession on the score sheet at some point.
Well, Nicole McKenzie has the resulting free kick, or as I nickname her, Nick Mac Paddy Whack. She has the football in front of the Freeze bench at the moment. Oh, just throws their equipment out of the way, saying, I want my room. Nicole McKenzie.
I drink your milkshake.
Kicks the football way wide, one bouncing over the boundary line and out of bounds, tapped over in the end by Connor Lewis, and we will have a throw in. Second half action here on USAFL.com, Go Live Sportscast on the Watch AFL scoreboard. It's 6-2-38, San Francisco, Minnesota 1-1-7 as the ball is thrown back into play. And it will just fall short, now to be taken away by Fury, who tried to fire out the hand pass to McKenzie. McKenzie was space to work with until Georgiadis says, I'm going to put a wheel clamp on you. And the umpire says, you've got to pay the parking fine. And that is a free kick to Georgiadis.
Georgiadis, I'll tell you what. Wouldn't look too out of place in VFLW or AFLW. Just saying. Up to the near side, McKenzie with a nice mark, and she got a little knock across the head by Saigula for her trouble. She's slow to get up, and this is from where she was before. Let's see if she chucks anything else. And now she's got a couple of spectators on the near side who she's going to have to work around. A little chip in front. A look going after that one is Silvio, but she had that one knocked around. Big tackle once again by Saigula. Didn't get the call. They're working around the Georgiadis, and Silvio again throws a shoulder in. Fury is in there as well. The ball is harder than brain surgery at the moment as they get one out now to the near side. Here comes McKenzie going again after Saigula. The umpire says high contact, and it will be a free kick going to, once he's done talking, the Minnesota Freeze. And it will come in the personage of, I believe, Kaya Saigula, who also alongside Connor Lewis plays for the Minnesota Vixen Gridiron team. Sends this one high. Moy Moy is there. So is Guyar. Bounces to the near side to Fury. Has Cloud out the back if she wants her. Forcing to drop the field was Dvorak. Ball goes in. The ball skitters forward. It's like a cockroach on the bathroom floor. Push in the back is called. Minnesota has the free kick. It goes in the personage of Catherine Mullen.
Mullen with the football, finds herself defensive side of centre wing in front of our Go Live Sportscast broadcast position. Now goes long and high. There was Kesky trying to get on the end of the ball, but here comes Portland's baby goat once more. That is Jess Blecker, powered by some snakes. Wonder who gave them to her earlier from the Allen's company. Gave it across quickly now to Savannah Green. Now she went towards centre half forward looking for Silvio from behind. And the umpire says holding the football against the Freeze. And Aldani Silvio has the resulting free kick. She finds herself about 57 metres out from goal. Looks for an option. Kicks it long towards the forward pocket. Mark taken, and it's by Savannah Green. So she will have the ball on a slight angle. She'll be kicking from around about 38.5 metres out, or in American terms, further than I can boot the ball. So she looks for some options. Says, nope, I'm going to go and ping it, and I want my name on the scorecard of this Women's Division 1 Grand Final. Here on Cooper's Field, gives it a roost. It will fall short. It will come off hands. Georgiadis is there. She can't extract the football out. It looks like a rugby maul. And no, if you've joined us, this is not rugby. This is Aussie rules. Umpire blows himself, gives himself a hug because, he's feeling a little bit insecure and asks for a ball up.
We should all have do that every once in a while. And no, it's not rugby. Yes, we're sure. As out in the middle comes, as you see the sun peeking through the clouds, finally here this weekend here at the Silver Lake Sports Complex in Ontario, California. Silvio to Fury to goal. It sprays right, it heads right, and it will go through for a minor point on the Watch AFL scoreboard. It is 6-3-39 to 1-1-7. The lead is 32 points. I'm Brian Bowerish alongside Peter Holden. Glad to have your company here at the ground in Silver Lakes in Ontario/Norco, California, or on GoLiveSportscast.com. And thanks to Kelly and Frank and everybody who's brought you the pictures across the weekend. Nice mark by Eliason. Very, very impressed. I'm telling you, the Georgian Nanscorn of the USAFL.
Eliason gets on the right boot, pumps it long, pumps it high towards the centre wing. Oh, Katie Cladd came through, should have been paid that. The umpire said no, but the ball popped out anyway to Fury. Fury put it on the left boot, goes to the hot spot of 40 metres out from goal. Mark taken. And they'll run out of defence with this one. The Freeze with a long high kick towards the wing position. That was Johnson Chambers who tried to work away towards the front position. What a tackle from behind! And that was Kaylee Sagaya, who just said, you're going nowhere, you are mine, and gets the resulting free kick. Goes up the line, trying to punch from behind. Sarah Maggie on, she does well. She came over the top to Catherine O'Hara and said, rejected! And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
In Elvis terms, it's return to sender. The ball will come in. Commentary position, wing side, as umpire Jeff Pershin arches the back and spins the ball back into play. And against Moy Moy, that's been a fantastic battle. Saigula Saigula couldn't get to it. Georgiadis taps the ball forward. Now it's picked up by Saigula, spun right round there by Doherty. Now cuts to the inside. Oha is there. Lewis bats it forward. And now going after it and digging after it is Keski. Keski kept in play by Klatt. That's Katie Klatt going back there. And it's one-on-one contest. And both forehands on the footy. And it's going to be awarded the way of Sene Moimoi, the former volleyball player from Ole Miss University, originally from Tonga. She's going to look to the right side, a little stab through, and turns it over to Kathy Oa. Over on the true right wing position in front of the Go Live Sportscast cameras at Know All and See All. And now down the line, and it's a good mark over the top, I believe, by Jerry Johnson Chambers. And here comes Minnesota with another inside 50.
Johnson Chambers is backing herself. She's giving herself a bit of a run-up. Gives a bit of a kick. It was a bit of a helicopter pump, but it found its intended target. That's the most important thing, and that's why she finds Carla Sagaya. And she has the football when she puts boot to ball about 40 metres out from goal. A reminder for those at the ground as well that the presentations today will be at 6 p.m. and will be held over in the fenced area with the palm trees. They call it the backyard. There's a stage there, there's a pool, and I just quietly don't know which team is first going to end up in the pool with their trophy as the kick goes long to the pocket and it dribbles over the boundary line and out of bounds. Just bring a towel.
I know we're not taking bets on that. Absolutely not, as the ball goes out of bounds. A boundary throw in. That's the voice of Peter Holden. I'm the voice of Brian Barish, which is funny because I happen to be Brian Barish. 39-7 on the Watch AFL scoreboard, but here comes Minnesota with a chance. Lewis able to bring that one down, wrapped up immediately by Jess Blecker. And umpire Lori Roop is going to win another Hayden Kennedy medal for umpiring, one of the best umpires in the USAFL, and glad that she's doing this women's game. Ball goes high in the air, slapped forward by Moimoi through the hands of Powell. There's Georgiadis. Out the back there is Keski. Couldn't get the footy. Powell got the play off, and down to get it is Colleran, or Minea rather. They work it around. They go to Lewis. Lewis got the right foot. It goes high. It goes into the pocket. Bounces away from Saigula. She does manage to throw a Shepherd in on Fury, and then she and Oa get tangled up, and the ball ends up out of bounds about 45 meters around from the Minnesota target.
Now, I'm not a rich man. In fact, he's a completely different person altogether who founded the league. But if I did have money, I'd love to give a truckload to Laurie Roop, send her to Australia, and have her umpire the VFLW, hopefully even AFLW. She's that good an umpire. As the ball is thrown back in, Catherine Oha tried to get a kick away. Was smothered off her boot. They bust out of defence here, the Iron Maidens, but not too far, only as far as Paige Thiel. Thiel got away with a kick before being claimed by McKenzie. And guess who's back there? Katie Klatt. Oh, she dropped it and then go back and get it again. Manages to go for the switch of play out towards the beer tent wing to Jess Blecker, who takes one bounce. Jess Blecker thought about a second, went with a hand pass before she got claimed. Trying to also pick up the football there is Colleran, who managed to try and knock it forward. Then it was with Green. Green put it high on the air. Bouncing football to McKenzie. Has to pick it up off the carpet. McKenzie shrugged off one. Hand pass, scaped it up. Christmas gift wrapped with a bow to Lauren Ohl. Ohl's kick wasn't flash though. It'll be sent back by Blecker, who kicked it into somebody's back and it ricocheted. Return to sender stuff. Elise Gallagher, one of the two Gallagher sisters who play here in Women's Division 1. Kicks it long. It was Sarah Maggione. She caught one in the back, and umpire Laurie Roop says, Sarah, have a free kick.
Mags with the football now. She has traversed all over the country professionally, and now she always comes back home to San Francisco to play for her beloved Iron Maidens. She works the ball to the outside and finds Meg Leone from Michigan. She sends that one up on the forward line, but there is Connor Lewis, and she gobbles it up, and now we'll try and direct traffic. Lewis looks to the left, looks to the right, now loads up and will continue down that far wing on the beer tent side. Nice mark as she turns over, and I thought maybe we're in a bakery now with all these turnovers, and boy, I could use another pie as the ball goes up on the far side now, and going after it and spinning around there with the boots is Colleran. Sends that one down, and that one skips through. Oh, going in after it as well, and now dogpile on the rabbit once again, and going out now, Silvio is able to get that one. And now picked up defensively by Georgiadis. It skitters across like a cockroach on the bathroom floor. Picked up on the near side, and they will work it on. Here is Oha, who dropped the pill, able to pick that one up, but ran straight into Meg Leone, and she coughs it up, and she is G-O-N-E gone. Free kick to Meg Leone, and the Iron Maidens leading by 32 points midway second half.
You're talking about Sarah Maggione area flying across the country professionally. I flew across the country amateurishly and lost my bag along the way. I should have gone Fiji Airways. Buy your ticket for the raffle over at the merchandise tent, and you too could fly free for 2 people, LAX to Australia. The draw coming up at 6 p.m. in the presentations. Again, you've got money on you. Go to the merchandise tent, buy some tickets for the Fiji Airways raffle. As the ball is now at the half-back flank, the free kick awarded to the Freeze. Eliason just giving a little bit of support to her teammate who just got up a bit ginger from that one. Not from the hairstyle, but as in feeling a little sore, and went to the ginger in Eliason. Eliason went backwards with a hand pass. One-step kick from Theo, going up the line. Oh, perfect hit, great mark. And the umpire will pay that. Swallowed up very nicely there by Kaylee Sagaya. Sagaya with the football, looking around for some options. Who's going to present to her? Georgiadis on short if she wants her, but she's being watched by Jason Johnson-Chambers if she wanted to go longer. Went for the pack situation. Georgiadis lost her feet, maybe tripped up. Umpire didn't see that. Play on. Fury goes in to try and pick up the football. Fires out the hand pass. From out of nowhere, Sagaya, like a heat-seeking missile, nailed her opponent. Free kick.
She's been best on ground, in my opinion, for the Minnesota Freeze, who trail by 32 points. I am very impressed by this Minnesota Freeze. They are giving the Iron Maidens a game. The Iron Maidens, I think the difference is that they've had those stretches where they've been able to get by the defense, but they have been taking it to the Iron Maidens against the wind. There's a turnover. It is Katie Klatt, and she has it across the halfback. I have a 2-year-old. It's in my head. Out the far side, and the mark is taken nicely by Georgiadis. Georgiadis stands on the wing position over on the Tasmanian side. She kicks that one up to the far side, goes up and bounces free. Over to get it now, and chasing after it is Klatt. Watched there by Burrows. Chang sends that one forward and marked by somebody. Lots of hands on the football. And the umpire crosses himself because he's a nice guy. And we'll have a ball up on the far side. Watch AFL scoreboard. Minnesota 1-1-7 trails San Francisco 6-3-39. The Iron Maidens closing in on number 6.
And they'll take the ball out of the contest here. The Freeze going in the direction of Zagayo, who tried to go over the punch at the last second. Fury, the umpire said it was touched in midair. Now he's saying over the shoulder free kick. It'll be going the way of the San Francisco Iron Maidens and Nicole McKenzie. I'm watching over at the Rouge 10. I want to see how fast they're going to sprint onto the ground when that final hooter blows. And the premiership, the 6th in a row for the San Francisco Iron Maidens, tying the record that we never thought would be beat by the Denver Bulldogs. Umpire says, and in the back infringement, going the way here of the San Francisco Iron Maidens, and this time the ball is going to end up in the hands of, I think it might be Chandra Roth with the football. She wants to elect to go long with the kick. Good boot towards the hot spot, 30 metres out from goal. Trying to go after Mandra, not away from her. Georgiadis was there as well. Nicole McKenzie wanted to go the soccer skills, but over around the football. Georgiadis with a little chip kick. Now McKenzie goes again, almost flattened in the contest. She's holding on the ball for dear life. Now dispossessed of her. Here's the hurry kick by Robin Leslie. Goes towards the top of the goal square. Ball is rejected, still in play. And now the Freeze force the ball through for a minor score. It is 6-4-40 San Francisco, Minnesota 1-1-7. The final hitter is near. Bring us home, Brian Barish.
As we get set to go, some friendly fire, and we see some of the Denver Bulldogs women who are about to see their record be tied now. They come out to the near side. Here they come, watching this one out to the near side. Gathering there is Burrows. Chang couldn't get to it. Oh, yes, she could. Kaya Saigula. It's a shame that her team is going to go down fighting here because she has done absolute yo-person work as she comes out to the near side. Over Oa. Out goes Guyar. Leo able to take that one. Here comes Saigula trying to chase her down. Chips that one. Thel had to go in and out of her chest. Here now is, looks like she's going to get ring around the collar and your whole wash clean. Remember that commercial? And it'll be a free kick going the way of, it looks like Becky Kraft, or that might be Lauren Uhl, out to the near side. Saigula is there, so is McKenzie. Moy, however, won the footy. Handballs it back to Gallagher, smothered nicely by Connor Lewis, who is also leaving it all out on the field. Comes to the near side, little shovel pass, could have been a throw, wasn't. Skittered along the ground. Guyar clean bowls her, being watched there by Keski. Goes into the middle of the ground now, sends that one out, and it's marked by Jess Blecker. Blecker wants to calm everything down. She's going to step back in the middle now. Here is Blecker. She goes on the hunt. A low driving kick to the top of the square, but it's picked off by Paige Thel, who takes it once again in the true center halfback position.
And she goes long on the right boot out towards the centre wing on the beer tent side of the ground, just where you see the Tasmanian sign, the new sponsors of the United States Australian Football League and National Championships. Ball is just squeezed out the side, being rolled over there, if you don't mind. Margaret Leone. Umpire blows the whistle, comes in, and will ask for the football back. Not too far away from full time here on the Women's Division 1 Grand Final. The San Francisco Iron Maidens. What a tremendous effort. The side was, formed about 10 years ago, if that. And now they're destined for their 6th national championship in a row. The hurry kick towards the centre half forward position. The ball got knocked away. There was Katie Klatt. Couldn't hang on to it. Hurry kick around the corner for the freeze. Going inside their forward 50. Plenty of numbers back there. Again, the player who I just mentioned recently, Klatt going to Mackenzie. Mackenzie looks to try and pick up the football. It's at her feet. She can't do so. Mullen going with her. Georgiadis gets the hand pass away. Here's the quick stab and boot there by Liz Ed. And it's going to be marked by one of the stalwarts of the side, Sarah Magallon.
And there's a few of them down there in street clothes. Julie Mama Marks, Millie Bruce, who wanted to play but out with an injury, and Carly Smolak, who's come up from San Diego to short this team. They just had their arms around each other, and they're about to watch their team try it, and there it is. Move over, Denver. You've got some room. The San Francisco Iron Maidens have won their 6th consecutive USAFL Women's Division I National Championship. They have done so over a very talented, a very game, and a very, very promising Minnesota Free side. The final score on the Watch AFL scoreboard, the San Francisco Iron Maidens, 6 goals, 4 behind, 40 points. Minnesota 1-1-7. A very good game. Very, very hard footy on both sides. If you're the Minnesota Freeze, nothing but applause. And if you're out there in the crowd, give them a big round of applause for making their first ever grand final. What a weekend it has been for them, but it's another win for the Iron Maidens.
And maybe this might give a little bit of inspiration, what I say, next to the Denver Bulldogs. When you line up those 2 titles, 6 in a row side by side, only the Iron Maidens can boast in that run of 6 titles. They have never been beaten in any of those years.
And that is a brand new USAFL women's record. We'll have to check on the men's side, but 24 consecutive wins. The last time they lost, Pete, was in the deciding game in a round-robin format in 2015 when the Bulldogs beat the Iron Maidens. Oddly enough, had the Maidens won that game, it would have been New York that would have won based on head-to-head. But since that day in Austin in 2015, they have not lost at this national championship. What a team.
And I have put the challenge forward also to the San Francisco Iron Maidens, not that they should also play Minnesota during the regular season, because I said maybe a bit chicken, but I would love to see them one day. I know it's very expensive, but maybe to travel to Europe to take on one of the sides. We know in Europe, because everything's close, they have the advantage of having a Champions League weekend where the best club sides get to meet and go head-to-head. Boy, it'd be interesting to see how they go against one of the London sides or one of the German sides or the Irish sides. How good is this San Francisco team?
Yeah, it would be very interesting to see how they go. And it would be very interesting, and maybe that's something that we could maybe bankroll at some point. Maybe somebody will come along.
And hopefully through donations to the USAFL Foundation. You can find more on USAFL.com, because remember, if you donate to the USAFL Foundation, it builds up some capital, and therefore a dividend can be given back to help fund the league with development year after year after year. Remember, please donate to the USAFL Foundation. And again, thank you to Coopers and Tasmanian partners of the league. Also, Watch AFL with the scoreboard shows San Francisco 6-4-40 defeating Minnesota Freeze 1-1-7. And please go to the merchandise stand. Remember to buy your ticket for the raffle. 2 tickets, LAX to Australia via marvelous Fiji. Thanks to Fiji Airways.
Thank you so much. Oh, and here is the you get 1 ticket for $10, 3 for $25, 10 for $50, 25 for $100.
That's spare change, considering how much just quietly people will be spending on entertainment in the backyard afterwards with the presentations and 2 great bands playing.
And if you can hear us, by the way, thank you so much, Peter Holden. We'll get to you in a second. If you are here in the beer garden, if you are here at the ground, come to the front of Cooper's Field, in front of the commentary position right now. All of you players, coaches, etc., we want to get a picture of everybody here at the 25th anniversary USAFL National Championships. We are doing that right now, and that will be immediately followed by the Women's Association photo immediately afterwards. Once again, everybody, if you're a player, if you're a coach, put your beer down for a minute, come over here in front of where we are on Cooper's Field, and let's get a photo taken.
And don't forget the umpires as well.
Oh, yes, the umpires as well, who did a fantastic job as always. We're going to take a step. We're going to come right back. Peter, go ahead.
I was going to say, thank you for having me for yet another year at the USAFL Nationals, particularly after the interrupted COVID years. And it's my pleasure now to give the headset to the newest life member of the United States Australian Football League, the original American voice. Sorry, Brian. I know you're the apprentice. Here's the master. He was the first and oldest to come along, Bill Roberts.
Nudge. And Pete, I think I speak for everybody when I say you take our calls here and you lift it to a higher level. Your professionalism, your willingness to do the games, the fact that you schlepped all the way over from that field to this one. Thank you so much for coming over here, lending your voice and your talents. And Sarasota next year, mate. Should be a lot of fun.
Look forward to doing it again. And to everyone else, see you in the backyard later on.
Indeed. All right. Once again, if you are a player, you are a coach, you are an umpire, get your rear ends in front of the commentary position on Cooper's Field so we can take a 25th anniversary picture. Now, for real, we're going to step aside, come right back. Bill Roberts going to join me, and we're going to have the men's Division I Grand Final. Talk about records. The Denver Bulldogs going after their 9th national championship, taking on the Austin Crows, going after their 7th and their 4th in a row. Game time will start at 4:30. We'll have some festivities before that when we come right back. You're watching the 2022 USAFL National Championships here on Go Live Sportscast.